The very first seconds of your day are the most critical. When your eyes slowly open, your mind is completely unprotected. You are stepping into a quiet, spiritual battlefield before your feet even touch the floor. Most believers do not realize this. They wake up and immediately surrender their peace, their focus, and their soul to the noise of this world. They open doors to anxiety and stress without even knowing it. But there is a better way. Today, we are going to look at 7 things you must never do first thing in the morning. And more importantly, we will discover what the Creator wants you to do instead. How you start your morning does not just set your mood. It actually shapes your entire spiritual path for the hours ahead. Look at the ancient scriptures. In Psalm 5, verse 3, we find a beautiful truth. In the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly. King David, a man who truly chased after the heart of God, understood a deep secret. He knew that the morning belongs to God first. It does not belong to your worries. It does not belong to your endless to-do list. It does not belong to the world. When you give those precious first moments to anything else, you pay a heavy price, a price that ruins your peace and drains your strength all day long. Let us reclaim your mornings, starting today. Lesson 1. The Screen Trap. Let us talk about the very first physical action you take every single day. Think about this honestly. What is the very first object your hand touches when you wake up? For almost everyone today, the answer is a glowing screen. Before your eyes can even adjust to the light, before you speak a single word of prayer, the phone is already in your hand. I used to live this exact way for a long time. My alarm would ring, and within seconds, I was already scrolling. I filled my head with bad news, social media posts, emails, and text messages. By the time I stood up, my mind was already heavy with other people's problems. I was carrying their opinions, their emergencies, and their demands. If I tried to pray later, my mind was too noisy to hear anything. I could not hear the gentle voice of God, because the world was screaming in my head. There is a scientific reason why this is so dangerous. When you first wake up, your brain is in a highly sensitive state. Scientists call this the transition state, between deep sleep and being fully awake. Your spirit is tender, and your subconscious mind is wide open. It is like fresh, wet soil, ready to receive whatever falls on it. Whatever seed you drop into it first will grow the deepest roots. If you plant anxiety, you will harvest stress all day long. Your phone wants to sell you fear and make you feel rushed. But Scripture offers us a beautiful alternative. Psalm 143, verse 8 says, "Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way I should go, for to you I entrust my life." The morning was made for God's love, not for notifications. It was made for direction, not distraction. Try a simple test tomorrow. Give your Creator the first 5 minutes of your day before you look at any screen. Protect your mind and let His truth be the first seed in your heart. Lesson 2. The Silent Mistake. Imagine walking out of your front door into a freezing, howling winter storm, completely naked. You would never do that. It is crazy. You would feel the biting cold instantly. You would feel exposed, vulnerable, and completely unprotected. Yet, this is exactly how millions of Christians start their day spiritually. They wake up, rush out of bed, grab their keys, and jump straight into the chaos of life. They step into a spiritual battlefield without wearing any armor. They do not speak a single word to their Creator. They just run. And they wonder why they feel so beaten down by noon. I know this feeling all too well. There was a season in my life when everything was moving fast. My responsibilities were piling up. My schedule was packed from morning until night. I felt like I had no time to breathe. So, I started cutting corners with God. I shortened my morning quiet time. I made excuses. I told myself, I will pray later. I will pray while driving to work. I will pray during my lunch break. I will talk to God before I sleep. But let us be honest, later never actually comes. By lunchtime, your mind is already spinning with problems. By bedtime, you are too exhausted to think straight. You end up giving God your leftovers instead of your first fruits. During that busy season, my days became a mess. I was highly impatient with my family. I made foolish decisions. I reacted in anger to small frustrations. By the time the sun went down, my spirit felt completely empty. It was not a coincidence. It was a direct result of how I started my morning. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 6 says, "In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your paths straight." Look closely at that word, all. It does not say acknowledge him at noon, when your day is falling apart. It does not say seek him at night to clean up your mistakes. It means you acknowledge him at the very beginning, before you take a single step. When you skip your morning prayer, you are choosing to walk in your own strength. And your human strength was never designed to carry the weight of a full day. You were meant to walk with him, from the very first breath. Lesson 3. The noise cycle. Another silent trap waiting for you each morning is the constant stream of global news. We live in a world that is obsessed with breaking stories, crises, and disasters. It feels natural to want to know what happened while you were sleeping. You want to stay informed and prepared. But there is a massive danger in flooding your mind with tragedy before breakfast. Think about what you are consuming. You are absorbing reports of wars, financial collapse, political rage, and human suffering. This heavy weight enters your soul before you even have a cup of coffee. I remember a brother in faith who struggled with this deeply. Every single morning, he spent 30 minutes reading the headlines. He thought he was being responsible. He thought he was preparing himself for the day ahead. But he did not see the slow poison entering his heart. Over time, he became incredibly anxious, angry, and fearful. He wondered why his relationship with God felt so dry. The truth was simple. He was letting the dark narrative of the world shape his perspective. The Apostle Paul gives us a direct command in Romans chapter 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Your mind cannot be renewed by the chaos of the evening news. It can only be renewed by the timeless truth of your Creator. When you fill your mind with Scripture first, your perspective changes. You do not become blind to the world's problems. Instead, you become completely unshakable in the face of them. You view the world through the lens of God's victory, not through human fear. Make a choice to feed your faith before you feed your curiosity. Lesson 4. The worry rehearsal. There is a very common habit that feels like prayer, but it is actually just worry with your eyes closed. You wake up. Your feet have not even touched the cold floor yet, but your mind is already running a marathon. You immediately start going through your mental checklist of problems. You think about the unpaid bills sitting on the counter. You replay the painful arguments you had yesterday. You worry about that difficult conversation waiting for you at work. You review all your fears, and you call it being prepared. You call it being realistic. But that is a lie. It is not preparation. It is anxiety in disguise. You are practicing your problems instead of practicing your faith. And whatever you rehearse in the morning will dominate your entire day. The scriptures teach us a completely different way to direct our thoughts. In Philippians chapter 4, Verse 8. We are given a clear instruction. Fix your thoughts on what is true, and honorable, and right, and pure, and lovely, and admirable. Think about things that are excellent and worthy of praise. This is not a gentle suggestion. It is a command to guard your mind. It is a call to be highly intentional with your first thoughts. Think about the ancient Israelites wandering in the dry wilderness. Every single morning, God sent down fresh manna from heaven. It was a daily miracle of provision, grace, and mercy. But many of them woke up, and instead of thanking God for the fresh bread, they started complaining. They focused on what they did not have. They worried about tomorrow's hunger. They rehearsed yesterday's hardships. And that toxic morning routine kept a whole generation from ever entering the promised land. Do not let your morning worries steal your promised land. Stop feeding your fears before you feed your soul. When you wake up, choose to look at the goodness of God, not the size of your problems. Lesson 5. The clarity illusion. There is a strange trick your mind plays on you when you first wake up. You open your eyes, and suddenly, you feel a rush of energy. Your brain feels sharp. Your thoughts feel clear. In that exact moment, you feel like you can conquer the world. So, you make a move. You send that risky text message. You make a sudden financial choice. You decide to quit a job or end a relationship. You do all of this before you have even whispered a single prayer. You think you are operating in wisdom, but you are actually walking into a dangerous trap. I remember making this exact mistake during a major transition in my life. I woke up one morning with absolute certainty about a huge decision. The path forward seemed completely obvious. I felt so confident. I acted on it immediately. I did not stop to ask God for guidance. I did not seek His peace. Within just a few weeks, that decision fell apart. I realized that my morning confidence was not divine direction. It was just temporary emotion. It was the physical energy of a rested brain, not the wisdom of a guided spirit. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 3 gives us a powerful warning. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and He will establish your plans. Think about that word, commit. In the ancient scriptures, it means to roll a heavy burden onto someone else. It means transferring the weight. Before you act on your morning ideas, roll them onto God. Give Him just 5 minutes with your plans before you execute them. A decision that seems perfect at 7 in the morning can look completely different after 5 minutes of prayer. Let Him carry the weight of your choices today. Lesson 6. The comparison game. There is a silent thief waiting in the shadows of your morning. It wants to steal your joy before you even throw off your blankets. And the easiest way it enters your life is through comparison. We live in a time unlike any other in human history. No other generation of believers had to face this specific trap. You wake up, you grab your device, and you open a social media feed. In less than a minute, you are looking at the best parts of everyone else's life. You see a photo of a perfect, smiling marriage. You see someone else's business succeeding. You see a beautiful home, a perfect vacation, or a massive answered prayer. And all of this happens before you have even brushed your teeth. It happens before you can remember who God made you to be. I have talked to so many young Christians who struggle with this heavy burden. They wake up feeling completely fine. They feel peaceful and ready for the day. But then, they spend 10 minutes scrolling in bed. By the time they get up, everything has changed. They feel slow, left behind, and forgotten by God. They look at their own simple life and feel a quiet sense of shame. Nothing in their actual room changed. Their circumstances are exactly the same, but their focus has been completely poisoned. The Apostle Paul wrote about this danger to the church. In Galatians chapter 6, verse 4, he says, Each one should test their own work. Then they can take pride in themselves alone, without comparing themselves to someone else. Your morning was never meant to be a contest. It is not a race against the highlights of strangers. It was designed to be a quiet, holy meeting between you and your Creator. He made you exactly as He intended, for a specific purpose. Do not let a stranger's screen ruin the peace He has for you today. Lesson 7. The Gratitude Anchor. Now, let us look at the most powerful weapon you can use every morning. It costs absolutely nothing. Yet, it has the power to change your entire day in an instant. The enemy hates this practice more than anything else. He knows that a grateful heart is a strong fortress. When you start your day with thankfulness, you build a wall of protection around your spirit. Nothing can easily shake you. Not disappointment, not comparison, not fear. Your soul is already anchored in what God has already done. A few years ago, I made a simple change that completely transformed my mornings. Before I did anything else, before I read my Bible, before I even got out of bed, I decided to speak. I would say out loud 3 specific things I was truly grateful for. This was not a long, formal prayer. It was just 3 simple, honest truths. I thanked God for the breath in my lungs. I thanked Him for the roof over my family. And I thanked Him for the grace I did not deserve. The very first morning I did this, something shifted deep inside me. The day ahead no longer felt like a heavy burden to survive. It felt like a beautiful gift to care for. Psalm 118, verse 24 says, "This is the day the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it." Pay close attention to those words. It says, "This is the day." It does not say yesterday. It does not say tomorrow. It means right now. Before the noise of the world begins, before your problems can speak, give your Creator your thanks. It is the most powerful choice you will make all day. Your morning is not just a random start to another day. It is the front line of a real spiritual war. Every single sunrise, a decision is made about who gets your mind. The world wants your attention. Your worries want your strength. The enemy wants your peace. But your Creator is simply asking for the first fruits of your day. He does not ask for hours of your time. He just wants the very beginning. He wants the first 5 minutes, the first thoughts, the first words of thankfulness. When you give Him the first, He multiplies everything that comes after. Remember the famous words in Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. "Seek first His kingdom and His righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Notice that key word, first, not second, not after you check your messages, not after you scroll through social media. First, I want to challenge you to try something tomorrow morning. Just for one day, give the first 10 minutes to your Creator. Leave your phone in another room. Do not touch the news. Do not feed your worries. Spend those 10 minutes in quiet prayer, speaking words of gratitude, and reading His truth. Then, watch what happens to the next 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day. You will see a peace that passes all understanding guard your heart. If this message has touched your heart today, make a stand right now. Write in the comments, "Lord, I give you my mornings." Let that simple sentence be your promise to Him today. If you know someone who needs to hear this, share this video with them. It might be the very thing that changes their life tomorrow. And do not forget to subscribe to this channel so we can continue to grow in wisdom together. May the peace of the Lord guard your heart and guide your steps. God bless you, my brother, my sister. Until next time.